Have you ever felt that quiet, creeping anxiety? You know, when you read headlines about AI, about automation, that little voice asking, are my skills, are they becoming obsolete? In a world that feels like it's changing faster than we can keep up, how do we stay relevant? How do we stop, constantly playing catch up and actually build our own professional future? We're going to dive deep into exactly that today. We got a kind of step-by-step guide to becoming a master learner, building a skill stack that hopefully keeps you ahead of the curve. Welcome to a new Mag Talk from English Plus podcast. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of information and we try to distill it down into the most important nuggets of knowledge for you. Today, we're tackling a really crucial challenge. I think it's something anyone navigating the modern world of work feels. How do you build a future-proof skill stack? We'll be unpacking a really fantastic guide here. It moves beyond just those skills everyone talks about, data literacy, emotional intelligence, that kind of thing. Instead, it focuses entirely on the how. So our mission today is to walk you through 3 critical stages. First, auditing your current abilities. Second, curating a personalized learning plan. And third, designing a learning schedule you can actually stick to. Think of it like this. You're building your most important product, you. Constantly evolving, constantly improving.
Yeah. And what's really compelling, I think, about this whole approach is how it taps into that very real, very modern feeling of unease. Lots of professionals feel it. But it cleverly reframes that anxiety. It's not paralyzing. Instead, it's a catalyst, a powerful one actually, for taking personal control for agency. So this deep dive, it isn't just about coping with change. It's about turning that fear, which is pretty widespread, let's be honest, into an actionable, empowering plan, giving you concrete tools so you can really take the reins of your own career path. It's about realizing the future of work isn't just something that happens to you. You can, and you absolutely should, actively shape your place in it.
Okay, let's unpack that core idea then. This idea of the age of the perpetual upgrade. It seems to be everywhere in discussions about careers now. The guide talks about a world where, the old idea of mastering one skill early on and then just coasting to retirement, that's basically a relic now, gone. Mm-hmm. It paints this picture of career paths that used to be predictable, maybe even a well-trodden, now being rerouted, sometimes, almost overnight. Why is this such a fundamental shift? And why is it happening with such, intensity right now? It really feels like the rules changed when we weren't looking, doesn't it?
It really does. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, it fundamentally boils down to the accelerating pace of technological change. It's almost exponential. And that's coupled with this unprecedented global connectivity we have now. Just think about how fast industries are being disrupted. Entirely new sectors pop up while established ones. They transform almost beyond recognition. What might have been a really niche skill, maybe known only to a few specialists somewhere, suddenly it could become essential, globally essential overnight, driving huge demand. And the flip side is true too. What was once a core capability, maybe certain admin tasks or repetitive manual stuff, that can quickly get automated, which shifts the human role, right, towards more complex problem solving or creativity or leadership, interpersonal things. So this rapid evolution means the half-life of skills, how long it takes for a skill to become half as relevant, is shrinking dramatically. Plus, work is globalized now. You're not just competing or collaborating locally, you're engaging with talent from everywhere, which just emphasizes the need for cutting-edge skills even more. So it raises this really important question for all of us. If the ground is constantly shifting under our feet, how do we avoid being left behind, feeling obsolete, or just, overwhelmed? And the answer, the compelling conclusion from a lot of sources, isn't really about the specific knowledge you currently have. It points to something more fundamental. Your capacity to continuously acquire new skills. You have to become what some call a master learner, someone who sees learning not as a finite thing that ends with the degree, but as an ongoing, integral, maybe even exciting part of their professional identity. It becomes less about what you know right now and much more about your ability to learn.
Right. So for you listening now, maybe you're prepping for a big meeting, maybe you're just trying to catch up on your field, or maybe you're just super curious about this isn't just theory, it's not abstract. This is directly about your long-term relevance, your personal growth, your success, ultimately. It's about taking that quiet anxiety we sometimes feel reading the headlines and turning it into actual concrete steps, proactive steps, equipping yourself not just with the mindset, but the practical tools too, not just to survive change, but to really thrive in it. But here's the kicker, and it's a big one. with what feels like a million skills out there, this huge ocean of possibilities, where do you even start? How do you pick the right skills? The ones that will actually move you forward. This deep dive gives us a roadmap, thankfully, and it starts with a really crucial first step. One that, honestly, many of us probably skip. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The point is made that you wouldn't start a long road trip without checking the car first, right? Oil, tires, GPS. Yet so many of us just kind of wander through our careers without doing that systematic skill checkup. We just keep going, hoping for the best. Reacting. So it's time to, metaphorically speaking, pop the hood on your professional self. How do we actually begin this personal skill inventory? What's the starting point for really understanding where we are now before we can map out where we're going?
Well, a really helpful mental model, one that comes up again and again in these discussions about future-proofing, is the concept of the T-shaped professional. Just picture the letter T, that vertical bar. That represents the depth of your expertise, your core area, your specialty. It's what you're known for, where you can really dive deep into the details, offer unique insights, your kind of unique selling proposition, maybe. Think of like a software engineer who specializes deeply in cloud architecture, or a marketing pro with amazing SEO skills. That's the depth. But that's only half of it. And honestly, it's not enough today. The horizontal bar, that represents your breadth of knowledge. Across different disciplines, these are your supporting skills. They let you collaborate effectively with people from other teams, understand the wider context of your work, and crucially, adapt when challenges pop up that cross different fields. It's like having a broad interdisciplinary understanding. Helps with communication, problem solving, seeing the whole picture. So a truly future-proof professional isn't just a deep specialist, an I shape maybe, just focus on one vertical. And they're not just a shallow generalist either, a minus shape, knowing a little bit about a lot, but without real impact. They are, like the model says, a T, combining that deep expertise with a broad, curious mind, connecting dots, understanding stakeholders, contributing to complex projects.
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not just a theory, it's a blueprint for you listening.
Yeah.
You're not aiming to be just the deep specialist, maybe stuck in a silo doing one thing really well, but maybe struggling to see the bigger picture, nor the shallow generalist, never quite mastering anything. You're aiming for that T. So, as you think about your own skills right now, where do you stand on that T-shape? Is your core skill, that vertical bar, is it still sharp, still relevant, still in demand? Are you actively honing it, pushing its boundaries? And just as vital, is your horizontal bar wide enough? Or are you feeling a bit siloed, maybe finding it hard to connect with colleagues in other areas, or understanding how your work fits into the bigger strategy? And this T-shape, it isn't static, right? It's something you keep working on, sculpting, refining, expanding throughout your career. It's your personal blueprint. But okay, once you have that model in mind, how do you actually figure out which specific skills you need to develop? The guide suggests a really proactive approach, almost like being a detective. The most effective way to spot those skill gaps isn't just looking inward at where you are right now. It's much more powerful to look at where you want to go and then work backward from there. It's about being really intentional rather than just reacting to the next trend, or worse, the next layoff announcement. So yeah, it involves a bit of skill detective work, proactively investigating your future self, collecting clues to build a really clear picture of the skills you'll need.
Exactly. This reverse engineering approach is incredibly powerful. It grounds your learning in real, tangible future goals. Instead of just guessing what might be useful or chasing every shiny new tech tool, you're letting the market, letting industry leaders guide your focus. It's much more strategic. So first, a really critical and practical method, studying dream job descriptions. And don't just glance at them. Actively analyze, say, 5 to 10 detailed job postings for roles you genuinely aspire to in maybe the next 3 to 5 years. And here's a key tip from the material. Ignore the years of experience needed. Ignore the specific company at first. Just focus laser-like on the skills and qualifications section. What tech? Like Python, specific cloud platforms, what software, what methodologies agile, design thinking, and what soft skills keep popping up. Strategic communication, negotiation, emotional intelligence. Look for the patterns. What's repeated across these descriptions? This is a treasure map handed to you by the market itself. So for instance, aiming for data analysis.
You'll probably see Python, SQL, Tableau, or Power BI, critical thinking, repeated again and again. Aiming for leadership. Expect emotional intelligence, strategic planning, cross-functional collaboration, motivating teams. These repetitions, those are your strongest signals. That's where the demand is. Second method, following trailblazers. Identify maybe 5 to 10 really influential people in your current field, or maybe even better, in the field you want to move into. Use LinkedIn, industry forums, academic networks, wherever they hang out, But don't just follow passively. Like, really analyze their activity. What are they talking about in their posts, their talks, their articles? What skills do they keep emphasizing? What tools are they recommending or experimenting with or even critiquing? Their public conversations often signal where the industry is heading. What skills are becoming really important? They're giving you real-time, often unfiltered insights. Kind of like getting insider information legally. And third, read the forecasts. This means actively seeking out and reading industry trend reports from reputable sources. Think big consulting firms, McKinsey, Deloitte, Accenture, or specialized industry publications, market research groups like Gartner. These reports are literally designed to forecast the exact changes and skill shifts you're trying to prepare for. They often explicitly state which skills are becoming critical. It's a top-down view. For example, a report might highlight the rise of, say, ethical AI development. As AI becomes more common, you need to understand fairness, transparency, accountability, not just build models. Or maybe it emphasizes circular economy principles in manufacturing, needing new skills in sustainable design, supply chain reuse, resource management. These are direct calls to action for your learning, a strategic perspective on where to invest your skill-building time.
That's incredibly powerful. It's like doing market research for your future career, using external data, not just your own guesses. Okay, so you've gathered all this data from job descriptions, from the experts, from the big reports. Now comes the really practical bit, the honesty audit. The idea is to create a simple but really revealing 3-column list. Column 1, list all those critical skills you identified, everything. Programming languages, leadership skills, specific software, whatever came up. Column 2, rate your current proficiency on a simple 1 to 5 scale, where 1 is basically, what even is this, or total beginner, and 5 is, yeah, I could teach a class on this. And then column 3, rate the importance of that skill to your 5-year goal. Again, 1 to 5, where 5 is absolutely critical, non-negotiable for where you want to be.
And this is precisely where, as you said, brutal honesty is key. But remember, it's for you. It's for your growth. It's not about self-criticism, not about feeling bad. The ultimate goal isn't to dwell on what you lack or get overwhelmed by a potentially long list. No, it's to pinpoint those golden opportunities, those specific skills that are high in importance for your future, but low in your current proficiency. That's where your energy, your time, your learning focus should go for maximum impact. And don't be discouraged if the list seems long at first. Think of it as raw material for your transformation. You've basically just identified the blueprints for your future self, the exact spots where investing your effort will give you the biggest, most strategic return. It's like getting a personalized development plan, straight from the future, successful version of you, ready for you to execute.
Okay, so what does this all mean right now? It means you should have a prioritized list. Maybe narrowed down to, say, 2 or 3 key target skills. Skills that are crucial for your future and areas where you know you need significant growth. That's a massive step, honestly. You've moved from just vague anxiety of feeling of, oh no, the future, to having concrete, actionable learning objectives. But now comes the next big challenge. How do you actually learn these skills without getting totally lost, completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of online resources out there? That itself feels like a huge maze, doesn't it? The learning labyrinth, as it's called. Right, you've got your targets locked in thanks to that audit. Now you're standing at the entrance of this learning labyrinth. It's vast, overwhelming even. A million paths, YouTube tutorials, endless online courses, books, podcasts, boot camps, forums. It is so easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis. You spend hours just scrolling, comparing options, debating, and never actually start learning. The key, as the material we're looking at highlights again and again, isn't finding the one single perfect resource, because honestly, that probably doesn't exist for every skill. Instead, the really effective strategy is to build a kind of multi-layered curriculum, one that strategically uses different types of learning resources to cover all your bases.
That's exactly. A truly robust plan, one that leads to real skill mastery, draws from 3 distinct types of resources. Each serves a unique, essential purpose. Think of it like building a house, right? You need the foundation, the structure itself, and then you need the connections, plumbing, electricity, connecting to the neighborhood. So first, Tier 1, foundational knowledge. This is all about understanding the what and the why, building that theoretical base, grasping core concepts, learning the vocabulary, absorbing the mental models of the skill. For this tier, think well-structured online courses. Places like Coursera, edX, LinkedIn Learning, maybe university extensions. They offer systematic learning. But don't discount good old-fashioned in-depth books by experts. They often provide depth and context you don't get elsewhere. Comprehensive documentaries or high-quality lecture series can work too. So if you're learning machine learning, this isn't just Python syntax. It's the math behind neural networks, understanding different algorithms, the ethics of data bias. If it's economics, it's supply and demand curves, market structures, macroeconomic indicators. This theoretical ground is the bedrock. It stops you from just blindly following tutorials without really understanding. Second, Tier 2, practical application. This is where the rubber hits the road. Knowledge is pretty useless if you can't apply it, right? So this tier is all about the how, about getting your hands dirty, learning from your head to your hands. Theory meets practice, resources here. Project-based tutorials that walk you through building something real. Interactive workshops where you practice live. Coding challenges, hackathons that test you under pressure. And crucially, creating your own personal portfolio piece. Or maybe volunteering your new skill for a nonprofit, or just a personal project you care about. Imagine building a simple website with a new language, analyzing a public data set for insights, designing a marketing campaign for something you're passionate about. These hands-on active experiences, absolutely crucial for solidifying understanding, building proficiency, and getting the confidence to actually use the skill. And third, networked learning. Trying to learn totally alone. It's slow, it's isolating, and it can be really demotivating when you inevitably hit roadblocks. This tier is about the who, plugging into the human network around the skill. This could mean actively finding a mentor. Someone who's already mastered it can offer guidance. It means joining dedicated communities, Slack, Discord, forums where learners and experts hang out, share insights, answer questions. Attending meetups, virtual or in person. Forming a study group with others on the same path provides huge social support. This tier is essential for getting real-time feedback, asking those stupid questions that unlock breakthroughs, staying motivated, and expanding your professional network in that area. It's about participating, attending webinars, connecting with peers, getting different perspectives, support, maybe even future opportunities.
That's a really comprehensive structure, very thoughtful. So for each skill you're targeting, the advice is basically aim for at least one resource from each of those 3 tiers: foundational, practical, network. It ensures you're covering all the bases, right? Moving from understanding to doing to connecting. You're not just reading about it, you're experiencing it, building with it, engaging with others doing it. But here's the rub. With so much content out there, how do you know which resources are actually any good? It's not just finding a resource, it's finding quality resources, ones that won't waste your precious time and energy. The guide gives us a kind of quick quality check for this.
You're absolutely right. The sheer volume today is a double-edged sword. Great access, but also a huge risk of wasting time on bad material. And yeah, spending hours on a low-quality course or a confusing guide, it's incredibly demotivating, not to mention a waste of money sometimes. So to separate the signal from the noise, the recommendations are pretty straightforward, but crucial. First, look for social proof. What are the reviews saying? The ratings? Is it consistently recommended by experts you trust, or by communities in that field? If lots of people are raving about something, there's usually a good reason. It works. Conversely, no reviews or lots of bad ones. Big red flag. Move on. Second, check the instructor's credentials. Is the teacher actually a practitioner? Do they have real-world experience using this skill effectively? Or are they maybe just a good marketer? Someone skilled at selling courses but without deep practical expertise. Look for evidence of their work, their projects, their impact. A great teacher has often walked the walk. Third, and this is so important for actually learning the skill, favor action over passivity. Does the resource make you do something? Exercises, projects, coding challenges, design tasks, data analysis, active engagement. Or is it mostly just watching videos, passively listening? The more active it forces you to be, the better you'll internalize, practice, and retain the skill. Real learning needs output, not just input. And finally, preview the content whenever possible. Most online courses have intro videos, free modules, sample lessons, books. Read the contents page, the first chapter. Does the teaching style click with you? Is it clear? Engaging? Does it respect your time? Get to the point without too much fluff. You want something that keeps you motivated, not makes you want to check your phone.
That is super practical advice, really empowering for navigating that learning maze. Okay, so you figured out what to learn. You know how to find good resources. You've maybe even mapped out your multi-tiered curriculum. But this brings us to what might be the biggest hurdle of all. It often isn't lack of info or even knowing what to do. It's making it actually happen consistently. We all have busy lives, right? Jobs, families, commitments, endless lists. How do we realistically build a sustainable learning habit when it feels like there's barely time for anything else.
Right.
This is it. The final frontier, often the toughest one in this whole future-proofing journey. You can have the most brilliant plan, the best resources all lined up, but they're useless if they just sit there gathering digital dust. Our collective experience and what the guide points out is that the biggest barrier usually isn't lack of information, it's a failure of implementation. We just don't make the time. Or maybe, more accurately, we don't build the systems to make learning a consistent reality. So, the ultimate question is, how do you architect your life, your schedule, to make learning inevitable, integrated, almost effortless, not just something you hope to get to eventually?
Yeah, and the material we've looked at really hits this head on. It directly challenges that most common excuse we all use sometimes. I don't have time. Let's be really honest here. No one just finds time lying around. It doesn't magically appear. We all, from the busiest CEO to someone just starting out, we all get the exact same 24 hours every single day. The difference, the fundamental difference, is in how we allocate that time. Successful learners, they don't wait for free moments to pop up. They deliberately make appointments with their future selves. They prioritize learning. They carve out specific, non-negotiable slots for it, just like they would for a critical work meeting or a doctor's visit or seeing a loved one. It's a conscious choice, an intentional act of scheduling your own growth and treating that appointment with respect.
That's a hard truth maybe, but such an important one. It means taking radical responsibility for your time. So think about your week right now, you listening. Where are your time drains? Where does it just disappear? Is it mindless scrolling? Social media before bed, first thing in the morning, channel surfing, hitting snooze 5 times? Could you reclaim, say, just 30 minutes from your lunch break? Eat at your desk while watching a tutorial. Listen to an education podcast. Could you wake up 30 minutes earlier? Maybe just 3 days a week. Dedicate that quiet time. What about your commute, train, bus? Could that be course time instead of game time or just zoning out? Be a really ruthless auditor of your own time. You will probably be genuinely surprised what you find. Those little chunks, often overlooked when you intentionally repurpose them, they add up significantly. Over weeks, over months. It's not about finding more time, it's reallocating the time you already have. And once you've found those potential slots, those hidden windows, the guide gives us 2 really powerful techniques to make them stick. To formalize them. Turn good intentions into actual routine. First, there's time blocking. This is where you literally go into your calendar, digital, paper, or whatever you use right now, and schedule your learning sessions. Like they're unbreakable appointments. For example, Tuesday, 7:00 p.m., 8:00 p.m., work on Python project chapter 4. Or maybe Thursday, 7:30 a.m., 8:00 a.m., watch module 3 data analytics course and take notes. That simple act, it transforms a vague idea like, I should learn Python, into a concrete plan. Specific time, specific duration, specific task. It reserves that mental space, that physical time. It signals its importance to you and maybe even to others around you. Second, there's habit stacking. This technique is brilliant. It anchors your new learning habit onto an existing habit, something you already do automatically. The formula is super simple, super effective. After current habit, I will new learning habit. Like, after I pour my morning coffee, I will read 1 article about AI trends. Simple. Or maybe you're learning a language. After I finish brushing my teeth at night, I will do 1 10-minute language lesson on my app. It cleverly piggybacks the new behavior onto an established neural pathway. Makes it much easier to stick because you're not creating a new trigger from scratch. You're leveraging an existing routine.
And what's really fascinating here, pulling from behavioral psychology, is that these aren't just neat organizing tricks. They really work. Consistency isn't mainly about willpower. Willpower is finite, it runs out. It's about designing your system, time blocking. It's a pre-commitment. It removes the should I or shouldn't I decision fatigue right when the time comes. The decision is already made, you just execute. And habit stacking, popularized by folks like James Clear, leverages those existing pathways. It makes the new habit feel less like a big effort, more like a natural extension of your day. I've genuinely seen people transform their learning just by embracing these, going from feeling stuck and overwhelmed to consistently building skills, sometimes just 15, 30 minutes at a time. It really shifts learning from being optional, something you'll do if you have time, to being integrated, non-negotiable. It automates the decision, making consistency much, much easier.
Exactly. So you've found the time, you've blocked it, you're stacking habits, you're showing up consistently, building that rhythm. But remember, the goal isn't just finishing a course or reading a book. It's actually acquiring the skill, integrating it so it becomes part of you, second nature. And that requires a fundamental shift from just passively consuming information to actively creating something with it. The insights we've gathered really stress the most effective ways to solidify learning by using it, by producing something.
This is absolutely where mastery happens, moving beyond input into output. Without active creation, learning stays theoretical. It fades fast. So one really powerful method mentioned is the 24-hour rule. After you learn a new concept, big or small, make a real effort to explain it to someone else within 24 hours. Could be anyone, a colleague, friend, family member, even your pet, apparently. The act of articulating it forces your brain to retrieve the info, organize it logically, simplify it, or verbalize it. That whole process cements it way better than just rereading notes. Plus, it immediately shows you where your gaps are. If you can't explain it simply, you probably don't fully get it yet. Great little self-test. Another critical step. Build a tangible project. Don't just do the exercises in the course or book. Challenge yourself. Start your own passion project. Something, however small, that forces you to apply what you're learning to a real problem or a personal interest. Build a simple app. Create a personal website. Analyze a data set you find interesting. These self-directed projects. That's where you hit real-world complexity, debug problems, iterate, truly integrate the skill. It's the difference between practicing scales and composing music. Builds resilience, resourcefulness. And finally, share your journey. Consider starting a blog, a social media thread, a LinkedIn series about what you're learning, your challenges, your discoveries. This creates external accountability. Sure, knowing others might see it, but more importantly, it forces you to synthesize your knowledge, to explain your process, your struggles, your breakthroughs. The act of teaching, even just documenting your own learning, is widely seen as the ultimate way to learn. Deepens understanding, clarifies thinking, might even help others too.
So what does this all boil down to for you listening? It means real learning is an output, not just an input. It's about doing, building, sharing, demonstrating your capabilities, not just hoarding information. It's about turning knowledge into actual usable skill. Okay, we have taken quite a deep dive today into building your future-proof skill stack. We started with why it's so vital now, this need for perpetual upgrade. Then we hit that crucial first step, auditing your current skills. Using that great T-shaped professional model, reverse engineering your future self by studying job descriptions, following leaders, reading forecasts, all to pinpoint those golden opportunities. Then we navigated the learning labyrinth, curating that multi-tiered curriculum, foundational, practical, networked, and vetting resources carefully for quality. Finally, maybe most importantly, we explored how to architect your life to make learning sustainable, inevitable even, moving from passive consumption to active creation, using time blocking, habit stacking, the 24-hour rule, and building tangible projects.
Yeah, and if we zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture, the core message that really resonates, I think, is capturing that phrase, the future is a verb. Building your skill stack. It's not a one-off project you take off a list. It's dynamic. It's ongoing. It's really a mindset for life. It's this commitment to staying curious, embracing ambiguity, seeing it as opportunity maybe, and always seeing yourself not as like a finished product, but as a perpetual work in progress. Always evolving, always adapting, which really raises an important question for you listening. How will you personally take that perhaps natural anxiety about the future, that unease, and transform it into a powerful, proactive catalyst for your own growth, your own agency?
Because by taking these deliberate, systematic steps, auditing with precision, architecting your learning time with intention, you really do transform potential fear into this profound sense of agency, empowerment. You stop being just a passenger in your own career, you become the driver, hand firmly on the wheel, ready for whatever the road ahead brings, twists, turns, opportunities. So maybe consider this. What single, small, but decisive step will you commit to taking this week to begin, or maybe accelerate, that process of architecting your future self? And this was another Mag Talk from English Plus Podcast. Don't forget to check out the full article on our website, EnglishPlusPodcast.com, for more details, including the Focus on Language section and the Activity section. Thank you for listening. Stay curious and never stop learning. We'll see you in the next episode.